Did you get ready in the dark or something? 'Cause you look like a beautiful nightmare.
Hello, good morning.
Have a great good day, sir.
Beautiful day here.
Oh, that's really great. How are you, sir?
I'm super. I got my second shot for the COVID, and I'm ready to go.
Wow, that's really great. So, have you any kind of symptoms like a little bit weakness, body pain, or fever?
No, I got shot twice and survived, so I think I'm ready for anything now.
Oh, that's that's really great, sir. That's really great. So, I would like to say you're the most welcome at this platform, Awesome Blossom English Learner.
Thank you.
Guys, actually, you just see, actually, Robert, sir, actually before we already meet to each other, but still we are really very glad that we are meeting again because of he is really very peach person, and that's why he is ready to come again just because of he has intentions to help needies. He has intentions to world, and that's why he wanted to tell a lot of things which is really very required to learn while English learning process. So thank you so much. I'm really very glad, sir, to meet you here once again. I really would like to clap for you.
Of course.
So the question is that about English, because you are native speaker, so I can say that yeah, of course you can tell me. So question is that what kind of things practice to improve the communications with foreigners, or like we can say western, like whenever we are talking to each other, so what is kind of things and lacking of point when we are facing to, like foreigners cannot understand to us, and same here, we also cannot understand to others. So what is the reason behind that?
It has a lot to do with pronunciation and how we learn English. Um, in learning English, has a tendency to mimic what they hear, so they pronounce things the way they hear them. So if we hear something pronounced in a peculiar way, and we start pronouncing that same word in the same way, and we assume that everybody else will understand us, it's on how people learn the language. Uh, we learn to pronounce uh, primarily by listening to the way other people pronounce words. And if we uh, learn to pronounce a word in a peculiar manner, and we continually do that, when we meet someone who does not speak the same way or did not hear uh, the words the same way that I did, perhaps they're not able to understand me. So that creates a problem. Sometimes we refer to that as um, not being able to understand someone because of their accent. Well, accents are nothing more than the way we pronounce words. So it's really pronunciation. Um, so that's what we have to work on. We have to work on finding a way to pronounce words that everybody who uses English will understand.
Okay, sir. Actually, I got that you just saying about the pronunciation. And in the first podcast, as you already mentions, that pronunciation is so important. But my question is next: that what is the difference? What is the difference between pronunciation and accent? And which thing is really important we have to learn and why?
Yeah, I find it difficult to separate pronunciation and accent. I guess Now, I'm not an expert in this, of course, but my thought about accent is when a large group of people pronounce words in the same manner that is different from everyone else, then that way of pronouncing words then could be called an accent. Um, yeah, and if that creates a difficulty for someone who doesn't understand that way of pronouncing words, then something needs to be done on one side, that is for one person or the other, so that they can understand each other mutually.
Okay, that's really great. So actually, a lot of people try to learn accent. Is it good or not?
Accent, I believe, is something that you're born with. That is a facility to say certain things in a certain manner. Uh, when we begin to learn our first language, we mimic what we hear our parents' friends, and that's the way we learn how to speak. Um, it gets more complicated when we learn another language because those habits that we have developed in learning our mother language many times get carried over into our second language. And those things can make pronunciation very difficult. I think partly because the muscles that we use in our speech organ, our mouth, um, aren't accustomed to making those foreign sounds. So we have to retrain those muscles. Uh, there are some exercises that people do to accomplish that. Um, Part of it is because we don't hear uh, the way something is pronounced, or at least we don't recognize it, so we can't make the connection uh, what's between what someone says and what we think they say. Um, it, we get lost in between there somewhere, so we can't mimic that sound that they make. So we have difficulty pronouncing the same word the same way that they do. Um, yeah, it really gets complicated when a large group of people have a different way of speaking because of their dialect. I guess this dialect incorporates a whole lot of things, not just ways of pronouncing uh, common words, but also it includes a different vocabulary or other words that are not shared between uh, one dialect and another. So I think what we need to focus on is simply pronunciation, um, and find an accepted, yeah, find an accepted way of pronouncing words that is, accepted by everyone who uses the language. Today with internet, that's very easy because we have what I refer to as the talking dictionaries, the speaking dictionaries. Uh, Cambridge, dictionary.cambridge.com, has two ways of pronouncing most words, uh, American English and British English. And as long as we pronounce words closely to the way those two accepted uh, manners of speaking uh, are 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 done, as far as we can, as we can speak the same way that that word is pronounced in the dictionary, then we're okay. The difficulty comes in when there are people who do not have that ability, uh, primarily because of limitations in their ability to make sounds. For example, I think perhaps I may be wrong, but people who have mother language of Chinese have difficulty saying the letter R in English. So that is an obstacle for them to overcome so that they can say uh, uh, rat instead of lat, because that is what happens. They have transferred from their mother language Chinese to English the sound that the R makes in their language. So the same thing happens in all languages. There are limitations because of the mother language and the transference of those mm, habits into the new language. Let's say it's English, and it makes it very difficult for other people to understand them. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I got it, the answer. So actually I want to know that according to you, what kind of process should be exercised to improve the pronunciation? Would you
Listen,
please would you please suggest to us any like method how to improve the pronunciation?
listen to a lot of understandable English, comprehensible English. Listen to things that perhaps you have uh, listened to in your mother language, but listen to them in English. So you already know um, what the talk or the speech is about. So you understand it. You recognize, if not all, at least most of the words. Uh, then try to mimic the way those words are pronounced. And if you really have difficulty with that, again, go back to the dictionary, uh, the speaking dictionary, as I call them, and listen to the way that word is pronounced. Yeah, there are people who will, for money, of course, help you uh, correct some of the problems that you have in speaking. Sometimes they're called speech therapists. Sometimes they are called speech coaches because they know how to help you change the way you speak.
Oh, that's really great, sir. That's really great. So, could you please tell to us what kind of standards to improve the pronunciation? Like, suppose I just start the English language. Right now, I just started ABCD, Miss Capit alphabet to learn English communication. So, we should try according to the Indian alphabet of 26 alphabet also there. But when we also go on the Google and on the YouTube, and that time I just search IPA, sorry, phonetic international alphabet. Sorry for that. I just come back my words. Phonetic, phonetic alphabets, phonetic international alphabet. So we should try phonetic international alphabet and or like simple alphabet.
Yes, of course. The International Phonetic Alphabet is useful for people who want to transcribe what they hear. Um, I'm trying to learn how to do that. Um, the way people say, um, the way people speak can be uh, annotated in writing using the symbols of the IPA, and many, maybe most of the dictionaries also provide that as an aid to pronounce the words that you look up in the dictionary. Um, so knowing uh, what each of those symbols mean, knowing how to make that sound will help you pronounce the word that you find in the dictionary. Few people can do that. Few people know how to do that. Um, so that's why I think that's probably why they have the speaking feature of the dictionary, so you can actually hear someone say the word that you just looked up. And again, they use both American English and British English to do that. Those are not the only two accepted uh, ways of speaking, by the way. Uh, there's all kinds of accents, more or less intelligible to other people. Uh, I say that because of the Cockney accent. Uh, it's a unique uh, dialect of English used in a very small area of England. Um, it's used internationally by some people also, uh, but that's more the exception rather than the rule. Most most other dialects are mutually intelligible.
Oh, that's really great. That's really great. So, could you please teach to us IPA sounds? Actually, when I just when I just try to learn, like when I just go on the Cambridge Dictionary, when I just listened by the audio clip, at that time I got the pronunciation. But when I just try to read, at that time it's really very hard for me how to recognize according to IPA symbols.
Yeah, there's only one solution for that, and that is to learn the IPA. Um, that's not something I'm capable of doing because I don't know the IPA myself yet. Uh, but yeah, and the reason I'm trying to learn the IPA, as you may recall, I'm trying to learn French, and French has some unique sounds that don't exist in English, and so I'm having great difficulty in making those sounds in French. So I thought maybe if I learned uh, how to use uh, the IPA and could make some of those, and can make those specific sounds that are unique to French, then that would help me with my French pronunciation. And I think that is what can be said of any language learner. If they're having difficulty in pronouncing uh, words, you know, find someone that you admire and listen to the way they talk and try to mimic the way they talk, or learn how to make the sounds of the IPA.
Oh, that's really great. So actually, I'm just thinking that if we try to learn, if we try to learn and just try to capture the sounds by the listening power, and by that things we also can mimic and just try to apply while the speaking time. Okay, this is the process of like we also can learn uh, texture texture, accent, pronunciation, correct pronunciation by the listening. Okay, but actually, I don't know that I'm thinking right or wrong. Could you please clear to me my things that I'm right or wrong? So, question is that that when I just just I just try to read IPA sounds. I know that it's really very hard for me to recognize, to read actually what is a symbol of that. Okay. But I just thought if we will, try to learn symbol of IPA. So means we also can sort out the problem to read the word at particular manner, appropriate manner. Means appropriate manner by pronunciation if we will try to read according to IPA sounds. So I'm thinking right or wrong. Means I think we have to know how to read the words.
Yes, yeah, there are some exercises that we might want to do. Exercises of tongue twisters, as they're called,
Uh,
because that will exercise the muscles in your mouth and make it easier for you to make the sounds that you find in the IPA. Because you will find that there are some sounds that you're not able to mimic. I mean, you can listen to the sound in the IPA, and they provide sample words using those sounds, but if you don't understand uh, and you can't make the sound, you have great difficulty. Uh, maybe a maybe a language partner could perhaps help you with those things, but um, yeah, I don't know the answer. Uh, no, I don't know.
Ah, it's okay. It's okay, sir. Really, it's really very, really helpful for us. It will be helpful for us, which you taught to us. And seriously, by that things, a lot of students can learn by the native speaker because they also can listen by the native speaker. What is the actually what's important in this language while the learning process? We have to focus on the pronunciation. We have to focus on the accent. We have to focus word. So by that things actually they also can, they can grab.
Well, you said something about native speakers. You know, uh,
Yeah.
native speakers perhaps are not the best people to uh, help you in the beginning of learning the language. Uh, for one thing, they're probably not going to understand what you say, and you're going to have difficulty understanding what they say. The best option is to find someone who has learned the language as a second language, because you're going to be able to understand them, especially if they have the same mother language as you. They're going to have made the same mistakes that you are making, and they'll be able to help you correct uh, those errors because they had the same ones, and they'll know what you're doing that's making the sound come out wrong. So I think, at least in the beginning of learning the language, find someone who has learned the language or is still learning the language, maybe in the same class with you, but they're able to capture uh, the idea that you're missing. So talk with them, and maybe they can help you uh, with that particular difficulty in pronunciation. Uh, I think that perhaps uh, interchange a conversation with a native speaker would be more appropriate once you have a relatively high level of ability in speaking, because because spoken English, at least in the United States, is not the same as written English. And I suspect that other languages do the same thing. Um, and it makes them appear that they're speaking much faster because of it. For example, um, let's see, they use uh, they use reductions. Reductions is a phenomena that allows them to appear to speak more rapidly, and it also makes them very difficult to understand. Um, Let me give you an example from American English. Uh, Speaking like a robot, like the words are pronounced uh, individually, like you would hear them in the dictionary. Uh, what are you going to do? Okay, we understand those words perfectly. But uh, listening to a casual conversation in the United States, you would hear someone say, "What are you going to do?" You may not be able to understand what they just said, but they used the exact same words that I spoke earlier. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So that's the biggest difference between the written language and the spoken language. Uh, they do not say all of the words, and sometimes they don't say the the complete word. They they do not pronounce the end of the word or something, or there are peculiarities in reductions. This can be learned. There are some excellent teachers available on the internet, both British English and American English, teaching reductions. So those are something that perhaps uh, are useful not to the beginning English learner, but to the advanced English learner. The beginning English learner has got a whole lot of other things that they have to learn first. Then later on, they can worry about reductions and improve their understanding of native speakers and also be able to adopt some of those characteristics in their own speech so that they are more understandable to natives.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. In the beginning of time, it's really very hard to learn, to understand. In fact, we cannot understand. We are not able to understand in the beginning of time. It's really very hard. It's not easy. Pack. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much, sir. As I mentioned again and again, seriously, you're really very helpful for a person, and that's why I just consider to you that you are my teacher. But before that, I accepted you that you are my as dad.
Okay, thank you very much for your time
Okay. So
and
actually,
allowing me to be here.
thank you so much, sir. Have a great good day. And sir, actually, you are really very aware about this that I'm recording this conversation just because for my students. So can I upload this video on my YouTube platform, sir?
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Actually, you are really aware to recording this conversation, this class. Okay. So I would like to upload this video on my YouTube platform so
Oh, no
that a
problem.
lot of students can learn by you. So can
Okay,
I do that, sir?
of course it goes. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much
Okay.
and have a great good day. And again, welcome, sir.
All right, thank you.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.
So once again, actually, I want to ask you one thing. That if you have time, only 20 minutes or more, 20 minutes more, so we also can discuss about the vocabulary, idiom, and phrases. That idiom is really very important that we should be learn or not, or we have to concentrations on the vocabulary or not.
Yeah, let's do that another time because I'm going to start an online video chat here pretty soon and I need to get ready for it, okay?
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Thank you so much once
All
again.
right.
And I hope you will give me time once again
Okay.
because yeah, yeah, yeah. So
All right.
actually, what happened? To be honest, actually, my dad had passed away 2009, 2010, sorry, 2010. And the time after that, when I just met you first time, when I just talked to you on the video call on the Gypsy application, at the time I just realized one thing. I just felt that seriously I have feeling for you as a dad. Seriously, sir, i
Okay.
really i really so much respect you, really respect you as considered of dad.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir. You give me precious time to you, to me, sorry. So, guys, did you learn something by Robert, sir? Seriously, that's my teacher, no need out here, but I just consider to him as a dad because he has no any kind of intention, great and wrong intention. He has only one intention to teach to the people free of cost, at any cost.